Okay, so let's do this quick. In 5 minutes, I'll explain to you why everything that's ever happened in the entire history of the world could not possibly happen differently.
Let's go.
Imagine two colliding billiard balls. One ball in motion is advancing towards the second stationary ball. When the first ball hits the second ball, the latter starts moving. Its movement is the consequence caused by the first ball hitting it. It's what we call the cause and consequence relationship. The domino effect, the chain of events, ripple effect, whatever you prefer. Now, why was this first ball moving? Why was there a cause in the first place? Easy answer, someone must have hit it with the billiard stick thingy, right? So this cause, this moving ball, is also a consequence of someone hitting it with the billiard stick. Now, scale up this cause and consequence relationship. Scale it up to infinity. You'll notice that everything that's ever happened in the entire universe is only a consequence of some previous cause. Every single thing that's ever happened in time, it didn't happen randomly. It always had a precise cause for it. Randomness doesn't exist. Randomness is just a concept for the events that we cannot predict. But if we would have the necessary technology, everything technically is predictable. Now that's established, think of what it does imply. Back to the billiard example. With how the first ball was moving, with the speed, direction, and angle the first ball approached, the second billiard ball couldn't have reacted any differently. The consequence was predetermined by the cause. And now scale up this too. And the thing, if everything is a consequence of a previous cause, which themselves are only consequences, and if every consequence is predetermined before even taking place, this means that everything that's ever happened and will happen, it is predetermined. Now, if you think for more than 5 seconds, you instantly arrive to the argument that, well, our decisions do have an impact on this never-ending chain of events, right? After all, our decisions are the fruit of our conscious thoughts. We choose to act a certain way, we choose to react, we choose what we do, what we say, what we feel, etc.
But the truth is, no.
Or at least if you don't believe in spirits and souls and ghosts or whatever, then no. In theory, there's no such thing as a choice. Here's why. All our actions are caused by our brain telling our body to do something. And your brain is only the vessel for your mind, right? Now, what is the mind? Well, the composite of our thoughts. There are two options for what are thoughts. Either they're only the consequence of neurons within our brain interacting with each other. Either there's something more to it, a spirit, a soul, or anything that is not made from physical matter that governs your mind. Now, if you believe that the second option is correct, that's fine. In no way I discriminate your faith, and I understand that you'll disagree with basically everything I'll say in this video. But if you do believe in today's science, and I underline today's science, right? Who the fuck knows what we'll discover in the future. But if you do believe that thoughts are solely the product of physical matter interacting within your head, then everything I say here applies to your perception of reality. Because then look, your thoughts are only a consequence of neurons firing in some pattern in your brain, right? And why are the neurons firing in this specific pattern to create these specific thoughts? It's not random. Something caused them to react this specific way in this exact situation, resulting in the exact action that you took. There was a previous cause for them, like for example something that's happened in your past, or the environment you grew in, or you were finding yourself at the moment, or some repetition throughout the years that affected your brain, or any trauma, or it doesn't even have to be trauma, any even minor event that had the slightest impact on your brain. All of that causes you to have the thoughts you have. But now relate back to the relationship I talked about in the beginning of the video. If our thoughts are solely the product of a specific interaction of neurons within our head, and those interactions were only a consequence of a previous cause, then our thoughts actually, they're predetermined.
Shit just got wild.
Look, this means that every thought that you ever had in any given situation, you could have not possibly had a different thought, because all causes combined preceding this event led to this exact consequence. Every action that you ever had, you could have not possibly had a different action. Everything in the universe that led to that exact moment could have resulted in only that one possible consequence that occurred. Like, if we would have the necessary technology to scan the entire universe, we could know every single thought that you ever had, and we could predict every single thought that you will have in the future. Even better, we could predict the entire history and the entire future of the whole universe. Because all of this just means that everything that's ever happened, that is happening, and that will happen is the only possible way that things can happen, and there's no other possibility of how reality can be.
Boom.
If it's the first time you're going through this thought process, then definitely take your time, right? This theory is not easy to understand the first, wait, it's not even a theory actually. I don't like to call it a theory because, well, I don't see any failures in the argumentation, and personally I take it as the truth. So if it's the first time you're realizing this truth, then if you're confused, then just pause the video and really think about it, or watch it again, or I don't know, go Google it up. The philosophy movement behind is called determinism. But if you do fully understand the idea, then think of the implication. First of all, this is the ultimate proof why it's just plain stupid to regret and dwell on the past. Not only that you cannot change it, it could have not happened differently. Everything that has ever happened, it had to happen. Period. So if you're regretting anything or you're overthinking past events, then I hope this video helps you realize that it just had to happen. Okay, and look, I know it sounds cheeky, but this is kind of definition of destiny. Before I thought it's only a absurd concept romanticized by Hollywood, but well, no, it's an actual thing justified by physics and science. But look, it doesn't mean it has to make sense to us, right? Just don't get like crazy and think that you're destined to become whatever you want to become, or I don't know. What I'm trying to say that at this moment, it's already predetermined what will happen in the future. Everything that is happening now and everything that has happened in the entire history of the universe will lead to the exact events that you will go through in the future. Even now, this video, you watching it, and your thoughts at the moment, even my thoughts while filming this, it's all only a consequence of previous events that led to this point. And it could have not happened differently. And that's just, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, now another important implication. It kinda does though mean that free will doesn't exist. What you think are your decisions that you decide on, well, no, you actually cannot do anything about it. Every decision that you choose, well, it had to go this way. You're just playing the script of the universe. But look, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Don't get like depressive or pessimist about it. You can choose to ignore this truth, as well you did before actually knowing it. I personally do that. I know that my free will is only an illusion, but well, I don't have this thought in my head constantly. Even right now when I'm talking, I'm not applying that concept directly. I live in that illusion and that's completely fine. But now I only assume that's an illusion for the present and for the future. For the past, I still apply what I said just like a couple of minutes ago, making regrets and dwelling completely meaningless. It's like selective perception of the absence of free will. When it suits me, I choose the truth. When it doesn't, I don't. Just molding reality in your favor. And I know it sounds like sci-fi as fuck, but it's just perception. Okay, now one thing. This doesn't mean though that you can be an asshole and justify your acts saying that, well, the universe told me to, complaining that you can't change anything about that. You can. It will be in the illusion, but since the illusion is your reality, you can. Theoretically, it will still be what the universe makes you to do, but that shouldn't matter to you in your reality. Okay, now also this raises the question whether you exist. Like, is there something, a you in your head? But that's a complicated topic I'm not gonna cover in this video because it's already pretty damn long. Okay, finally, keep in mind that all of this is based on current knowledge of physics and of the human consciousness. When scanning the human body, we didn't discover anything else except the atoms forming the flesh and the neurons and everything. That's why we assume that the mind is just a computational thing occurring due to neurons firing. But maybe we simply don't have the technology to detect the other stuff. Maybe there's a new type of matter, or maybe there's a whole new incomprehensible concept of what it means to be. Or maybe even there are laws of physics that we didn't discover yet that will completely shift our perception of reality. Yeah, I don't know. But technology and science are advancing fast. Well, actually exponentially. And so it's super exciting that there's a possibility that in our lifetime, we will be able to create an identical copy of a brain, like atom to atom identical. And if that copy yields a consciousness and a mind, that'll be the ultimate proof that it's only a matter of physical matter interacting, meaning that there's no soul or spirit, making this theory absolute. Or maybe, on the opposite, we'll discover that, well, no mind is generated, meaning that there's a soul or a spirit inhibiting our brain and our body is only a vessel to it. In both cases, I'm just saying we have a lot of mind-blowing stuff coming up in the future. Okay, look, this video is getting long, so to sum up quickly. Everything that's ever happened, that is happening, and that will happen is the only way things can happen. Making regrets and dwelling on the past completely stupid. Also making, well, free will an absurd concept. But all of that, it's completely fine. Thanks for watching.
Call me up for bluffing cause I call you all the time. Said she wanted space, so you know that's fucking lies. Can't go to the field right now, yes I'm fine. Said she wanna fuck right now, guess